candy bar. I'm not going to give it away to just anybody. Okay? I'm not going to tarnish it by letting somebody else. I'm just not going to allow that to happen because I choose my future, and my future is code. My future is glory. My future is high. My future is success. And that means in every area of my life, my relationship. I'll tell you two stories and we'll be done. Okay, story number one. My son, the hip-hop rapper, was also a high school basketball player. When he was a junior in 5A, he led the state of Oklahoma in three-point percentage and free throw percentage. He was a good player. So his senior year, he was a captain of the basketball team. And also his junior year, a girl moved in. She used to be a homeschool girl, and she moved in. She was 5'11". She was gorgeous. Her name was Janet. Janet Hovanesian. And everybody thought that Janet was beautiful. And so the senior year, guess what? They elect Josh to be the high school homecoming king and Janet to be the high school homecoming queen. And you know what happens on homecoming night? The king gets to kiss the queen on the mouth. And in Bixby, it's a tradition, they don't just kiss them on the mouth. They get them and they kind of like, right? Well, so I said, Josh, I have something to tell you. True story. We're sitting at the kitchen table. And I said, you know, Janet was homeschooled, right? He's like, yeah. I said, you know, Janet's made a decision that she's not going to kiss a boy until she's married. And he does this. Actually, you couldn't hear it back there, but his head hit the table and it made a noise. And he looks up real slow. I said, what are you going to do? He goes, I don't know, Dad. I don't know. And so I know that Josh doesn't have a plan. Okay, I've asked Josh to load his suitcase. I've asked Josh to have character strength on the inside. But this is Janet Hovanesian, right? And she's so fine. And all the school is looking at him. And he knows, and everybody knows that Janet has made this decision, right? So guess what? You know, they give her the robe and they give her the crown. They give him the flowers to give to her, and he takes the flowers and he gives to her. And what are the boys in the group saying? Kiss her, kiss her, let her have it, woo, right? And so this is what Josh does. I kid you not. Okay, he takes her hands, all right, his hands, and he puts her face in his hands. And he says, what do you want me to do? That's Josh's plan, to ask her, right? And you know what she says? She says, do whatever you want to do. All right, now listen to me. I trained Josh to pack his suitcase with honor. I trained him to discover his honor, to defend his honor, to define his honor. So I know that there's something in there. You know what he does? He takes her hand, or her face, he turns to the side, kisses her on the cheek. And guess what? Every girl, every woman, married or unmarried, in that room was just like, oh. And every dude was like, oh. Now listen, I'm going to tell you something. Josh knows that this is not going to be his wife. That it's not his privilege to be able to lick on that candy bar. All right? It's not his, now listen. It's not his privilege. It's not his privilege to take anything away from her. It's about his honor. He's defending it. Let me tell you one last story and then we'll be done. When Josh had a deal for him to do, where he was walking through the woods, he didn't know anything about it. He thought we were going golfing. And I take him to the woods and I say, get out and go that way. He's like, what? He's like, get out and go that way. He said, what way? I said, Josh, this is your choice, man. This is your path. You make your own way. He's like, Dad, you're freaking me out, man. I said, I'm serious. Get out and go. And so he shuts the door and he gets out and he calls me on his cell phone in about 30 seconds. He goes, Dad, what's going on, man? Really? You're freaking me out. I was like, Josh, this is your journey. This is your path. Make your own way. Well, he comes over the hill and there's this great big pond. There's 9 old men fishing around this pond. Okay, one of those old men is his grandpa. Okay, he doesn't know that. He's like, calls Dad, who's these old dudes? Who are these guys? I said, I don't know, Josh. See if you know anybody. He's like, oh, gotta go. And he doesn't even say goodbye, right? Why? Because this is his path. This is his decision. Well, he goes and he sits down beside his grandpa. His grandpa gives him his fishing pole. Because just like you're a middle school boy, your grandpa was a middle school boy. And just like he had decisions to have a family, and you became something of that family, you're going to have a family one day, and you're going to have grandkids one day. And so you're building, you're planning your future right now. And so his grandpa sits about 15 minutes, says, hey, when I was your age, this is what I wish somebody had told me. And he starts telling him the exact same things I'm telling you right now. And he gets up and he goes through the woods, and in the woods he finds his uncle. And in the woods he finds his cousin. And in the woods he finds the youth minister at his church. And in the woods he finds his AAU basketball coach. And they all come walking out of the woods together. And they sit down. And we go around the table and we say, Josh, this is what a man is like. This is what a man does. Be a man. And then we go inside and we sit down and we have the big barbecue meal. And after the barbecue meal, I put my hands on his shoulders. And I said, this is Josh Sallee. He is a man today. He will make a great man. He will make a great husband. And he will make a great father. And I am honored to be his dad. And then I had him stand up in front of me. And all 9 boys stood up with their dads in front of them. This is exactly what I did. I said, Josh, hold your hands out like this. And he did. He put both hands out like that. And I looked at him in the face. I said, Josh, I said, I trained you to be a man. I showed you how to be a man. And now, go be a man. And I dropped it right in his hands. And he caught it. He looks at me, he says, is this mine? I said, you bet it is. Now go be a man. And so what I asked Josh to do was to carry the sword that he'd been given from his dad, the full code, the full glory, the full honor of who I'm asking him to be, and to carry it with him. And I'm doing the same thing to every one of you today. So I want you to stand to your feet. Stand to your feet. From me, the sword that you get is the sword you create. All right? It's a metaphor. Now listen, take your metaphorical sword and raise it up like this. All right? Hold it up. If you don't hold it up, I promise you'll not do this. Now repeat after me. I choose honor. I choose honor. One more time. I choose honor. Now I want listen. Think about this. We're like Roman gladiators, okay? We're like Trojan warriors. We're like Spartans. I want everybody on this campus to hear you say it, and I want you to believe it. One more time, say, I choose